Well, hello everyone. I have something fun for us to try doing here today. This, if you can see, is a Seagate ST-277N. It is a 5 1/4 inch half height SCSI interface drive of the same form factor and vintage as the venerable ST-225. This one happens to be a 65 megabyte model, and I want to try something today. I'm not a big fan of the SCSI interface. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So I would like to try converting this drive to something else. And what we're going to do, this is a ST-251-1. We're going to take the control board from this and swap it onto that. And hopefully between the two, we're going to end up with a 277R RLL drive. So yeah, we're going to make a Frankendrive today. So first things first, we've got to get this control board off of here. So the SCSI interface drive here is one version of the 277. The other version is an RLL. They didn't release this in an MFM version. It's really just a matter of the control board. So that's why I think we can swap this one out with the control board from the 251. Kind of the neat thing about it is that the 277 happens to be the bigger brother of the 251, and this one's a tight fit. There we go. This one looks like it comes out the side. There we go. Just get be gentle. Yes. These can be a little tricky at first. They've been plugged in for a lot of years. Yep, it's starting to come off. We're just working it side by side. These can be quite tight. There we go. There we go. Alright. Have a look at that. This is the control board from ST-277N with the SCSI interface. And the back side there, of course this is the side that you get to see. Sorry about the camera angle there, it's a little tricky. Alright, so we'll set that one aside. We'll leave that right there. Here comes the donor. I used this same one the other day. There's a sticker on it that says Billy. I don't know if you can see there. It's the name of the drive. Some of my drives have little names with different stories behind them. So maybe one day we'll tell you the story of the Billy drive here. But this is my bench drive. I use this to test ST-251 boards on. So this one comes out nice and easy. Alright, and here's our board from the, turn it around, this is the board off of the ST-251. Now this drive, being the little sibling of the bigger 277, Seagate got smart somewhere along the way when they were designing these drives. These ones of course come from later in the lineage, and they actually shared the same control board between the two models. So the 277 is the RLL version of the 251, right? RLL has a higher recording density, so it fits more data in the same platters with the same number of heads between them. And there were other drives that were like this. The ST-225, which is well known, was the same way with the ST-238. The 238 was the RLL version, essentially of the same drive, but they had different control boards. So I think where these ones share the same control board, I think we're going to have luck. So I've lined up my ribbon connector there, and I just used the back edge to seat that in. Here is our connector. Now this was hooked at a different angle, and for this drive here, just referencing the 251. So on the 251, I don't know if you can see, but I can tell the orientation of that connector. So I know the orientation of it here. I should just lay down. And then this is turned at a slightly different angle. So this one is angled that way, and this one will have to turn as well. So it's funny with the boards, they do that where connectors are turned at different angles, or sometimes they're slightly different. But here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna try and get this thing down. Gotta be really gentle. I don't want to tweak that ribbon cable really. This thing is causing me grief. Okay. So we'll just, yeah, that lays down sufficiently well. Doesn't lay down super great. Those ribbon cables are stiff, and having flexed them into a different position is a challenge, but they will settle in. And same thing here. Okay, that little right angle one can be really tricky. Even when you've practiced it a bunch of times, it can be really tricky. Okay, so screws in. Now for some reason, Seagate usually has a little washer. I don't know if you can see that. There's usually a little plastic washer on one of these screws, and it goes up here at the top. I don't know why that is, but I just follow along. And if we can find the hole, there we go. That one, and then I like at a minimum to at least get the one by the power connector, because it provides structural strength when you're pushing the connector in. So there. So we have our terminator pack is on there, our jumper's on there. This was a perfectly good board off of a 251, and so we've put that onto our 277N, and that was pretty quick and easy. So what's next? Well, we have to bench up a little system here so we can run this and see what we can get out of it. So let's do that. Alright, so here's the motherboard that I'm going to use today for our bench test. This is a Taiwan-made XT compatible board. This one, I really enjoy this one for doing bench work. It has 640K, enough for me on there. And power supply. So we have a power supply that I like to use on my bench here, and it has a P8 and P9 connector, as they're known. And plug that in. I want to turn my monitor here for you, and we will show the monitor here in a second. We're going to use a VGA today, and I'm using this Chips VGA card. Yeah, it's a 16-bit card, but through the magic of PC BIOSes and things, this works in an 8-bit. Alright, so we have our bench system up with a VGA board in it. Here is our hard drive. We're going to have it back here. And we need some power to it. And today, the controller I'm going to use is a Western Digital WD1004A-27X. So this is a nice RLL controller of a later vintage here by Western Digital. Very nice card. So we'll insert that into a slot there. And reaching up to the top shelf to come up with some cables. Here are our cables. Okay. All right. So, I fully expect this thing to spin up. I don't expect it to boot or do anything like that. We're going to add something here to boot from. How about this, an XT IDE with a compact flash adapter. Okay, we'll put that over there. Okay. Floppy disk is in. Reaching for the power button. There it is. All right. So right now, drive C is the the compact flash card, and I just want to see real quick what speed store says this card. There we go, 826. So type 0 there is our drive. That's the correct type that we're looking for. 820 cylinders, 6 heads, and the RLL will bring us to 26 sectors per track, I believe it is. So let's try a low-level format using Speed Store. We need to select the type, and we will go down to Seagate, and we're going to say that it is an ST-277R, and it looks to be okay with that. So we will go to Initialize, Standard Init, Proceed, No, and I'm going to use an interleave of 3. And initialize. So the screen is going to run there for a while. We won't see much of anything. But listen to the drive. Hopefully you can hear the sound. Sounds like a clock. Tick, 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 tick. So that is the drive happily low-level formatting. So we're gonna see what happens here. I'll be back with you when this is done, and we'll see how it goes. Well, it's not perfect. It says head 5, cylinder 2 has an error. Still sounds really nice. A few errors here in the defect table is no problem at all. In fact, I've had drives where this whole screen fills up with errors. This one actually seems pretty nice, so I'm still crossing my fingers. Again, a few bad cylinders here is not a problem. In fact, it's perfectly normal for these drives. I do have a few examples I could show you of drives that have no defects whatsoever, but they're more of a rarity. It's really common that these have a few defects. So there, we're up to cylinder 200 already, going all the way up to cylinder 820. Alright, we just crossed cylinder 500. And I was thinking, I totally jinxed it when I said early that I thought this drive might be perfect. I totally jinxed it. That's why we have a few defects here, but really, again, no problem. This thing sounds great. Hopefully you can hear it. The bearing is nice and quiet. The head's moving is just like a ticking clock. It's beautiful. Alright, we're done. And do I want to add these to the bad track table? I usually say no. And let's quit out of here. Okay, so there is a file system on the drive now, but I know it's not going to be good. Let's do this. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's just try fdisk. Let's display partition information. Okay, I'm going to delete that partition. Delete the primary DOS partition on drive C. The volume label is none. Are you sure? Yes. I want to create the DOS partition. Create primary DOS partition. Maximum size, yes. The partition has been created. Let's go to set active partition. That's active. Okay. Now we'll reboot. This time, I am going to use the DOS format. Okay, this seems to be working better. It has gotten through those few bad spots on the drive that we knew about in the defects from the low-level format. We're right back to cruising through the format here, so something in Speed Store must have gone askew when we ran into those bad cylinders. But this thing's cruising right along now. Still sounds like clockwork. It's very nice drive here. And the volume label will be Frankendrive. That might be 12 letters. Alright, we're going to sys to C:. Now if I go to drive C and type our DIR, there we are. The Frankendrive. Alright, and it has command com on it, so we should be good to reboot. Control-Alt-Delete. We'll take the floppy out. Very nice. Well, thanks for coming along on our little bench adventure today. Power down. So we converted successfully an ST-277N to an ST-277R RLL by using a control board from an ST-251 MFM drive. So there's our ST-251, and we successfully low-level formatted that as a 277R 65 megabyte RLL. So I hope you've had a good time on our little Frankendrive adventure here today. I'm Chris, and yeah, we'll do some more drive experiments soon. Thanks for coming along. Bye.